Hey guys, I wanted to continue the conversation that I started about a week ago about overcoming the resistance that we feel when we try to enter into prayer. So, the last time I spoke about how the enemy comes to resist us, but sometimes the resistance that we feel is not actually coming from an outside enemy. The resistance is sometimes our own self. It could be that our very own flesh is the thing that is resisting us, because prayer is a spiritual activity. And Galatians 5:17 tells us that the desires of the flesh are against the spirit, and the desires of the spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing the things that you want to do. Your spirit says, I want to go and pray. But sometimes your flesh steps in and says, no, I don't want to go and pray. I'd rather go do something that makes me feel good. The flesh wants to serve the flesh, but our spirits want to serve the Lord, and our spirits want to be with Him. So this resistance from the flesh can feel like a literal tug of war inside of you, but one way that James 4:7 shows us how to overcome this is to submit to God. And how do we do that? Well, it's in these moments when we must choose to submit ourselves to God in an act of humility and not allow the fleshly resistance to control us. So submission to God, it's literally a heart thing. We need to bow our will to His. And it's just like when Jesus told the Father, not my will, but yours be done. It looks like doing that thing, doing the prayer, pushing past what's going on in your mind, pushing past what your feelers are feeling in the moment, and pushing past it and doing it. You and I have the theology to pray without ceasing, but to actually go and do it, it requires submission. And submission to God should always come from love, not obligation. So it is true that the devil will try to take advantage of our weaknesses, and our flesh will be tempted to lure us away from our relationship with the Lord, to take us away from prayer, which is communion, which is intimacy, which is talking with the Lord, which is interceding for another person. However, God did not tell us to submit to our flesh or the devil. He said, submit yourselves to God. And when you do that, His grace is released to you. If we look at the verse just before James 4:7, in verse 6, it says, but God gives more grace. Therefore it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So even here, we can see that God could also be the one creating the resistance. But I'm going to save that for another video. In Matthew 26:41, when Jesus was talking to sleepy Peter in the Garden of Gethsemane, He told him to watch and pray, that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So when we come to God in prayer, we must come with humility and a heart that is submitted to God. And if we do that, He will immediately fill us with His grace, and we will find that entering into prayer will not be a difficult task. You may actually find enjoyment in it. For to enter into prayer is to enter into Christ. It's kind of how I like to see that. And in Him there is fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. There's pleasure in His presence. There's pleasure when you connect your heart with His. And He has called us into this conversation with Him and to join Him in His intercession. Prayer is not a heavy commandment. It is a beautiful invitation from our Lord into communion, into connection. So, therefore, Let us humble our flesh by submitting to God out of love. We resist the devil and we keep our eyes on Jesus as we take the time to go and pray with him. So that's all I have for today. God bless you guys.